Hello, this is Their Reflections. Welcome back. How's everybody feeling today? It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am sleepless and Prince's hand. Anyway, just wanted to share a quick message that maybe might encourage you. I talk a lot about our unity and um, how we all share the same. We all come from the same place. And one of the things that I like to talk about is our common unity. And hopefully, having that type of conversation can spark interest in us seeing the humanity in one another. Scientists recently discovered what they call mitochondrial Eve. And mitochondrial Eve is the oldest ancestor of all of us, all Homo sapiens. That is not to say that she is the first woman, but that is to say that all humans, no matter what your culture is, no matter what ethnicity you are, we all come from um, this same being, this one person. We all share the same mother. Every single human being on this planet can be traced back to this particular um, um, finding called mitochondrial Eve. Look it up. You'll find it, and it's fascinating to think that all human beings. It just doesn't matter where you come from on this planet. We come from the same source genetically. That's been demonstrated, and that says a lot. And most likely from Africa, as where she was found, which means she would have been a person of darker color because Africa is very close to the equator, and that's a whole nother conversation. But when we talk about the diversity of humans around the globe, and I've shared this in previous videos, our diversity has a lot to do with how we've traveled around the globe and our relationship to the sun, food source, etc. That as we evolved and adapted to our climates, this is one of the reasons why we're so diverse. And it's fascinating. We call that microevolution. But we all come from the same source. Now, think about this scientifically. We have so many ideologies that separate us, that tell us that we're different, when in reality, physically speaking, we're not. We're the same. We might look different, but biologically and genetically, we're the same. Religions separate us, ideologies separate us. But science unites us. When we start looking at the science and realize that the science tells a different story, it says that we all come from the same source. What if we begin to accept that and embrace that and teach our kids that? I wrote a children's book about that I'm working on getting published, that helps kids understand our diversity and why we're so diverse from a scientific perspective. But what if we were to see it from that? What if we were to acknowledge that there's not much difference between us? What if we begin to celebrate our diversity? What if we look deeper into mitochondrial Eve and realize that we have a common mother? And there's also a common father. I think he's called, what is it? I haven't looked into that. I forget the name of the Adam gene. But there's also this thing with Adam as well. But we'll save that for another time. But the idea that we can we all have the same ancient mother is fascinating to me. Think about that for a second. So everybody that you see in the Walmart, everyone that you pass on the street, everyone that you get angry at in traffic, that's your brother or your sister. Anciently speaking, genetically speaking, we're all related. And if we're all related, maybe we could treat each other differently. Maybe we can see our common beauty, our common wonder. Maybe grace would allow us to see each other through a different lens. In Buddhism, there is no separation. Separation is an illusion. We see a lot of separation in Western religion. We see a lot of separation in politics and ideologies. But from a biological perspective, Mitochondrial Eve tells us a different story. Just something to think about. I'm all about love. I believe that the greatest thing that we can do is learn to love each other. Carl Sagan even said this. He said, for beings as small as we, the vastness of the universe is only bearable through love. And this man was an avid atheist. But somehow he understood that love is the glue that binds us together. Albert Einstein's last equation was all about love. He wrote his daughter a letter and told his daughter not to read it to the world until she thought the world was ready. But it was his final word to the world, and it was about love. Look it up. When the letter was sold, I think it was sold for, on auction, for $1 million. Someone bought that letter for. It was Einstein's final revelation to the world. A revelation greater than E equals MC squared. This revelation of love, scientifically speaking, he really was serious that the greatest revelation for mankind is this this remarkable, rather, incredible, infinite love that binds all things together. This is the mystery of life. And when we realize that we all come from the same source, and maybe that source might be love itself, maybe we can learn to love each other. I believe that we're in a transition right now. Patriarchy is screaming to try to stay alive, is fighting for its power. We see that in politics now. We see it in religion, particularly fundamentalist religion. But that's going to give way. There's a strong, urgent voice for us to recognize the divine feminine in all of us. It's not going away. It's always been here, and it's emerging. And maybe there's this balance between the masculine and the feminine coming together in a divine way in all of us if we're open to it. And this might bring about some unity, some clarity, some peace. In the words of the Beatles, come together. We need to come together. This violence that we're seeing, this hate, this utter, what we're seeing with detention centers in this country and imprisoning people, innocent people, it's without regard to their humanity, is absolutely senseless. It's blowing my mind. And those are our brothers and those are our sisters, regardless of what we think about immigration rules and rights. Yeah, I get that. But people are people. We can't treat people like they're nothing. Something is wrong with that. And if we're not speaking up about it, shame on us. Shame on us if we're not willing to say, that's a human being, that's a child that we're detaining, that's starving, that's hungry, that's not getting proper medical care. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's father. This is inhumane. And maybe if we start recognizing that we have the same ancient mother, that we're all the same, we're not separate human beings. We are one species. There is no such thing as races. We are one race. We're the human race expressing itself in a variety of ways. And that is absolutely beautiful and wonderful that we get to do that. Yeah. Look her up. Mitochondrial Eve. It'll blow your mind. Science tells a different story. Science opens our eyes. We once thought the earth was flat. Now look at us. We once thought a lot of things that were wrong, but we change, we evolve, and we grow. Hopefully, anyway, at least that's the dream. Peace to you, and may that bless you, or open your eyes, or maybe encourage you in some small, giant way. Peace.